So I use 2 different snips and my Worth punch with a Kevin Riley spring repeater. Alright, so I got a couple pieces here already. I like to buy a roll, and this lasts me a pretty good amount of time, and then I'll just cut strips to work with. And then this is kind of my template for liner springs. And then we'll do a couple rear springs real quick. So with the spring repeater, you start your first hole, and then you just put it on that little nipple, press it all the way down, and it'll just repeat for you. And I'll go down the line and I can make a few blanks. Before I even have to cut anything. I usually punch this right over the trash can, but I'm trying to keep it in frame for you. Go 1, 2, 3. So we got 3. Probably get another one out of there. So with this little strip, I should get 2 front liner springs and 4 back springs. Let me see, I gotta figure. Okay, so, and then I just kind of eyeball everything up here to get these little corners. I think after a while you get pretty good practice and they're pretty symmetrical. And then snip it, back spring, like that, like that. And there we go. And you want to make sure to get all of these little guys and throw them away. They'll end up digging their way up through your shoe. We got our 4 springs. Let me just do these other 2 real quick. Trim this back edge. I like this one, the blackened one, for back springs because it leaves less of a serration. But when I'm cutting long, it doesn't like to stay in a straight line. So I have this one for the front springs, but it does leave more of a serrated edge. So it takes a little bit more sanding to smooth it out. And then I will get 1 spring and 1 piece of spring stock and try to cut 2 springs out of it. So what I do is I mark a line, kind of just eyeball it from corner to corner, and then I'm going to snip there, and then you're going to have an angled edge here, and then I'll mark it. You just kind of straighten it out so that it's not at an angle. So I'll have my first cut diagonal, and once I have the 2 pieces, I'll cut to make a straight edge on the back side, like that. And I like to cut a little long because then I can shorten the front spring if I need to. You want to be really careful because when you snip, it's going to start to curl on you. So I'll grab a pair of pliers, either these or I also like these curved needle nose because they kind of get out of the way of the blade. Sorry. So probably stand up on my chair for this. So I'll line up the bottom edge and the top edge, and then just start. And you got your 2 pieces. You can see is it kind of has a downward angle, and you want it to be flat across. So then I grab these again, and then I'll flatten it, right? And then from here, you can kind of see how far of a front spring you want. These are both going to be big liners, so I like it a little bit longer. I think that should be okay. We might snip it after it's on the machine. So this one's completely finished for today. We'll probably still need these two in a minute. But that's how I cut springs. And then, so you got kind of an arch to it already, or a natural bend. So I like to punch it so that I get the smooth end on here with my punch, because one end will always be a little jagged. And I like the smooth edges to be touching each other. So this is smooth, this has a little jagged edge. Just to avoid breaking springs. And just like the other ones, I just kind of eyeball it. After a while you get pretty good on getting this centered. Not too bad. Well, if we could try to raise it up. We'll do the same with this one. And there we go, not too shabby. This one's a little bit to the side, but the hole's big enough to where it'll still center up. Alright, now I like to round all the edges and take all these sharp burrs off from the snips. There's a bunch of different ways to do it. You can use a sanding belt. I just use a sanding disc on a drill and it gets the job done. Small, compact, I don't have to get up. So I'll probably fast forward through this because it's going to take a second. But I'll do the first one normal. So I'll grab it. And then I'll kind of, so you can see that one's kind of not symmetrical. I'll use the disc to even them out so they don't look so off. You're getting better, getting closer. And there you go. And then I'll slow it down and kind of round everything out. And once I got all the burrs off, I'll round the corners and then hit all the little angles. And then the front spring is the same thing. First, I'll start with the jagged edges. And then I'll straighten this out if it's still a little bit slanted. And then I'm gonna clip a little bit off the top right here. And then we're gonna round that off. So there you go. There is a set of front and back springs. Now I'll do the rest, but through this I'll probably fast forward. And there we go. We got our 4 sets of springs for our 4 machines. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, hit the like button, comment, or subscribe.